I've had people complain to me. They say, I'm drinking more water now, and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally, we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day. And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day. And many people have said to me, thank you so much, that has made a big difference. See, huge water in, it's not long before huge water has to come out. It's like watering a plant. And look how God sends the rain, little by little by little.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill. Today we're focusing on the importance of water. Staying properly hydrated is crucial, especially as we age, but many of us make simple mistakes that can lead to dehydration. Did you know that nearly 75% of older adults are chronically dehydrated? This can lead to a range of health issues from fatigue and confusion to kidney problems. In this video, we'll discuss why water is vital for your body's functions and highlight common pitfalls to avoid to ensure you stay hydrated. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
Water, the second most vital element needed for life. So the number one vital element needed for life is oxygen. And that's not a surprise, is it? The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go a couple of weeks without water. I always thought it was 3 days without water until I read a book called The Long Walk about some people who were escaping the Siberian work camp, and they were in the desert and they went nearly 2 weeks without water. Wow. Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you? I always say to people, how much water do you drink? And these are some of the answers. I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day. Those last two answers tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium. So let's go back to sodium. In nature, we find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, 30%, approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount, they're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it so that it runs freely, and there's your table salt. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium. But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop. There is a small amount of sodium in the cell, but when this happens, you see osmosis and diffusion happens when the highest concentration merges into the lowest. So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. Table salt will contribute to high blood pressure.
When sodium levels rise inside the cell due to excessive intake of table salt and insufficient potassium from fruits and vegetables, the body faces several challenges. The increase in sodium can disrupt the delicate balance that is crucial for cellular functions. This imbalance can lead to a cascade of health issues, particularly in cardiovascular health. High blood pressure or hypertension is often referred to as a silent killer. Many individuals are unaware they have it until complications arise, such as heart disease, stroke, or kidney damage. The body tries to compensate for high sodium levels by increasing blood volume, which raises pressure against the artery walls. Over time, this added strain can result in serious health consequences. Moreover, an inadequate intake of potassium exacerbates the issue. Potassium plays a significant role in regulating fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions. It acts as a counterbalance to sodium, helping to maintain normal blood pressure levels. A diet low in potassium means the body cannot effectively flush out excess sodium, leading to further retention of fluid and increased blood pressure. To combat these issues, it's essential to incorporate potassium-rich foods into your diet. Foods such as bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, and avocados are excellent sources of potassium. These foods not only help lower blood pressure, but also provide essential nutrients that support overall health.
Lining our gastrointestinal tract are villi. And on the villi is a receptor site. And that receptor site is to take the glucose through and into the blood. So on this villi, we've got blood capillaries that go all the way through. Now in that receptor site is a carrier. And this carrier is designed to take the glucose through to the blood. But the carrier will not accept the glucose unless it comes with a molecule of sodium. I read this in my anatomy and physiology book. In the anatomy and physiology book, I memorized the sentence so I could give it to you from the horse's mouth. Sodium is the main transport system of glucose across the brush border wall and into the blood. And yet what are we told? Don't eat salt. Well, I agree with the table salt because it causes this imbalance of minerals in and out of the cell, absolutely. And did you know that sodium chloride is so strong it can kill the taste buds? Have you seen people that eat table salt? They put it on everything and they put it on before they've even tasted it. Well, no wonder their taste buds are dying. Whereas Celtic salt, with all of its minerals, it enhances the flavour of the food. Now, the red lentils we had this morning, a few people have said, "What's in this?" I've even served it at my house at breakfast and people have said, "Is there chicken in this?" And I know why they say that. It's because it's so flavoursome. Well, it has a little olive oil, some herbs, nice if you can get fresh or Italian herbs, and some Celtic salt and a bit of turmeric. That's it. I rinse it very well. It must be rinsed well first. And I do that just before it's fully cooked. And yet, as you can see, it's delicious. See, I'm not interested in cooking up onions and garlic, and much as I love that in my lentils, I'll do that at lunchtime. But in the morning, I've got hills to run up and down, creeks to jump in. I'm not interested in being in the kitchen for a long time, and that's a very quick dish to make. So sodium not only is required to get the glucose into the blood, it's also required to get the water into the cell. So it's sodium. It's the third most vital element needed for life.
Sodium is essential for keeping our bodies hydrated and functioning properly. It helps manage the balance of fluids in our cells, which is crucial for everything from muscle movements to how our nerves communicate. When we eat sodium, it works with other electrolytes like potassium to help maintain this balance. If we don't get enough sodium, we can end up dehydrated, which can lead to fatigue, confusion, and even muscle cramps. This is especially important for athletes who often lose sodium through sweat during intense workouts. That's why you'll see many of them drinking electrolyte-rich beverages to replenish what they've lost. Sodium is also key to how our bodies use glucose for energy. When glucose enters our bloodstream, it needs to get into our cells to be converted into energy. If sodium levels are low, this process can slow down, leaving us feeling sluggish and unfocused. But it's important to choose the right sources of sodium. Processed foods tend to be high in sodium, but they also often contain unhealthy additives that aren't good for us. Instead, we should focus on whole foods that naturally contain sodium, like sea vegetables and certain types of salt, which can be much healthier options. Getting a balanced amount of sodium in our diets is crucial. This doesn't mean we should go overboard with table salt, but rather prioritize foods that provide healthy minerals. By doing this, we support our overall health and ensure our bodies can perform all the essential functions we rely on every day.
But you just imagine for a moment, and this is happening in America a lot today, people are not drinking enough water. They're not having the whole salt, and they're definitely not having many greens, which is where your magnesium is. So the little bit of water they're having is not getting inside the cell. They don't go out in the sunshine because they're scared of getting skin cancer. So they're not getting their vitamin D, so the calcium can't get in and the minerals can't get in. And they're trying to lose weight, so they've listened to a lot of the media hype that you've got to stop the fat because fat will make you fat. So they're on a high carbohydrate diet. Remember what fat will do? It'll give you satisfaction or a satiation, a full feeling. But if you're not having any fat, you just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. The whole packet of cookies goes, the whole chips go. There's not a sign in your body that says enough. It's the fibre, protein, and the good fats that will give you that sign. So they're on a high carbohydrate diet, thinking that if they go fat-free, they'll lose weight. And can you see what's happening? The water can't get in, the minerals can't get in, the glucose can't get in, and the body says, what are we going to do? Because remember, this is the CBD of the human body. What are we going to do? And the body says, we've got one last thing up our sleeve. We'll just force it into the cell. That's high blood pressure. We have a book in our library, and I know we have it in the library here. It's by an Iranian doctor called Dr. Batman Geheldij. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's called One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. The second title to his book is He's Not Sick, He's Thirsty. The third title to his book is Don't Treat Thirst with Medications. His story is fascinating. I think it was in about the 70s or 80s. He was a political prisoner. And because he was a doctor, everyone came to him when they had problems. And all he had was water. So no matter what the problem was, he'd get them to drink a glass of water. He'd come and see them 15 minutes, he'd give them another glass of water. So usually in half an hour, they had 3 glasses of water. And he was just shocked at how the headaches are gone, the migraines have eased, the stomach ulcer pain had relieved, the asthma attack relieved. He only gave them water because he had nothing else. He just wanted to make, I guess, a show that he was doing something, and because he was doctor, they just drank their water. So he began to document what he was finding because it surprised him. He did not realize, he did not expect the water to have that much of an effect. I can't remember the period of time, but eventually the government changed and he was freed, and he said, look, do you mind if I stay a bit longer? I'm in the middle of this fascinating research. And he has presented his findings at medical conferences. He's presented his findings in medical journals, but it's not a very popular subject because you can't make much money out of water.
Dr. Batman Kelledy's research sheds light on the vital role hydration plays in our overall health. He found that many common health issues can stem from not drinking enough water. The human body is around 60% water, and every cell relies on it to function properly. When we're dehydrated, our cells can't absorb the nutrients they need or get rid of waste effectively, which can lead to various health problems. One significant discovery he made is the connection between dehydration and high blood pressure. Our kidneys help regulate blood pressure by balancing fluid and electrolyte levels. When we don't drink enough water, our kidneys try to conserve it, leading to an increase in blood volume and subsequently blood pressure. On top of that, a lack of essential minerals, especially magnesium, can worsen the situation. Magnesium helps keep our blood vessels relaxed, and not getting enough can cause them to constrict, raising blood pressure even more. He also observed how hydration can affect chronic conditions. For instance, not drinking enough water can lead to kidney stones. When urine becomes concentrated due to dehydration, minerals can crystallize and form stones. Similarly, staying hydrated is crucial for digestive health. Proper hydration helps keep the mucous membranes in our intestines healthy and aids in digestion. His findings extended to other conditions like migraines and asthma. Research shows that drinking more water can reduce the frequency and intensity of migraines. In asthma, dehydration can thicken mucus, making breathing harder.
So we had a man do our program from South Africa, and he and his wife came. He was not interested in being at our retreat, but his wife had paid the full amount, so he came, reluctantly. And when I'm talking to him, he's about 57, he did not want to answer my question. He answered them abruptly and shortly. He wasn't annoyed at me. I know he was annoyed at his wife that he was even there. I said to him, "Do you drink water?" "Yep, 2 litres a day." So I just moved on from that. I didn't ask any more questions. I said, "Do you want any medication?" He said, "Yes, I'm on a different antibiotic every month to kill the Helicobacter pylori in my stomach, because I have had stomach problems for 25 years. I've been all over the world." So the latest thing he was trying was antibiotics because they found he had Helicobacter in his stomach. I said, "Oh, how long have you been on this program?" He said, 4 months. So he's had 4 doses of Helicobacter pylori, and guess what? It's still there, and he's still got the stomach pain. I said, "Are you interested in trying an alternative to your medication?" He said, "No, I'm very happy with my medication. Thank you very much." And I always give everyone respect. I respect everyone's choices. Isn't that our God-given right? Absolutely. I just said, "Oh," and I left it there. Now, after the first lecture where I talked about the body's ability to heal itself, so that we have a problem, we should be looking at how the body heals and work with it. He and his wife, and she was on the medication too, they came straight up to me. He said, "That made more sense than anything I've ever heard. I'm willing to do what you suggest." I said to him, "I have no authority over your medication, but I said, if it was me, I would cease it because it hasn't worked so far, and I would try the herbs that I suggest." He said, "I'm willing." So what I did was I gave him a herb called slippery elm, which coats and soothes the lining of the gut. He did our basic program, 2 days on juices, and we encouraged people, of course, to drink water between every juice. At the end of the week, I had a very happy man in front of me. He was eager to tell me something. I said, "Yes." He said, "I've had no stomach for 2 days, first time in 25 years. He said, "I was drinking nothing between meals, and I was drinking almost a whole litre of water with every meal." So I want to show you what was happening in his gut. So what was happening in his gut, he's drinking nothing between meals, which means the lining to his gut is very thin, which means the hydrochloric acid is breaking down the tissues. And remember, the bacteria is an opportunist organism. And so what happened is the body started to, its own microorganisms changed role and came to the cleanup team. Remember the garbage collectors? And they started to clean up the dead tissue, and their name was called Helicobacter pylori. See why you have to ask why are they there? No wonder they find Helicobacter pylori in every case of stomach ulcer. They're there to clean up the mess. Now, as God would have it, when we smell food and we start to chew food, hydrochloric acid, here's hydrochloric acid is released. And hydrochloric acid connects with pepsinogen to release pepsin, which breaks down protein, but hydrochloric acid does something else. It's antifungal, antibacterial. And so it has the ability to wipe out these guys. And just as hydrochloric acid is considering going down and wiping these guys out, he has a big glass of water.
Drinking water at the right time is crucial for our digestive health and overall well-being. Many people don't realise how the timing of water intake can affect digestion and nutrient absorption. When you drink water before a meal, it can help prepare your digestive system. It stimulates the production of digestive juices, including hydrochloric acid and enzymes, which are essential for breaking down food. Drinking water at this time also helps hydrate the tissues in your digestive tract, making it easier for food to move through. On the other hand, consuming a large amount of water during or immediately after a meal can dilute the digestive juices, including hydrochloric acid. This dilution can hinder the breakdown of food, leading to incomplete digestion and potential discomfort. It may also slow down the absorption of nutrients because your body relies on concentrated digestive enzymes to effectively break down food. Ideally, you should drink water about 30 minutes before a meal to maximize your body's digestive capabilities. This allows your body to create an optimal environment for digestion without overwhelming it with excessive fluids. After eating, it's best to wait at least an hour before drinking water again. This timing gives your body the opportunity to focus on digesting the food without the interference of diluted stomach acids. In addition to meal timing, the type of water consumed can also play a role. Filtered or mineral water can be beneficial, providing essential minerals that aid in digestion. Avoiding excessive sugary or carbonated beverages is essential, as they can lead to bloating and disrupt the digestive process. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the importance of water and the common mistakes that can lead to dehydration. Remember, staying hydrated is essential for your overall health, especially as we age. By being mindful of your water intake and avoiding those pitfalls, you can support your body's functions and improve your well-being.